So, hello po to our BED 2F, especially to our TTP instructor, Sir Millard Francisco. So, today I will discuss my topic entitled Professional Standards for Teachers in the Philippines for my classmates who are working and yung mga wala po noong nag-discuss ako. So, but before we start our discussion, let's close our eyes and feel the presence of God. Lord, I welcome you, your spirit into our heart. Everything that we am or I am is because of you. I die to self and welcome your presence. My righteousness is your righteousness. Our life is your life. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So our teacher is our second mother, our friend, our sister, our tropa, and etc. They play an important role in our life. Madami kaming naririnig na, ay, mag-teacher na lang ako kasi madali lang. Teacher or education lang pala kayang-kaya ko ipasayan. Without realizing na madaming paghihirap, madaming dapa, madaming kailangan, pagsubok, iyak, puyat, pagod, pawis, and even pera ang nagagastos ng isang teacher. But now, let's study and have a deeper understanding to professional standards for for teachers in our country, the Philippines. So, hello classmates and to our instructor, we are the group 3. I am Angelica Giecel Afante Magbalot, the group 3 leader together with my members Godwin G. Dawa, Jimel B. Ramirez, Leah C. Kaina, Miss Mary Rose B. Gabalona, Micaela B. Mejia, Rosemary S. Iglamo, Rosemary S. Fajardo, Sheila May S. Iglamo, and Wilmina P. Gabriel. So, this chapter will focus on new professional standards for teachers in the Philippines. It aims to provide pre-service teacher education, students with the necessary knowledge of the expected roles that they will play when they work as a professional teachers, either in private kung hindi man nakapasa or pwede rin pong sa public school kung nakapasa na. Specifically, the following are our objectives of this chapter or sa discussion namin. At yung lesson objectives po namin ay makikita po sa slides na ito. Specifically, the following are the objectives of this chapter. Discuss the professional standards for teachers in the Philippines, reflect on the challenges posed by the new professional standards for all teachers in the field, and appreciate the new roles of teachers specified in the new professional standards for teachers. So, nag-indicate rin po ako ng mga vocabulary para po yung mga hindi familiar na words sa atin na madidiscuss po namin or meron po sa topic namin ay magiging familiar na sa atin. Nandito po yung mga words na meron na rin pong meaning and I hope you will understand later what is it all about. So, let's move on po. So ito na po yung chapter 3 na i-discuss po namin. I have so many sleepless nights at ang dami po naming nabuhos na effort to our report and now finally, we will discuss it now para po sa mga classmates po naming wala noong discussion po namin and para po sa mga working classmates po namin. Nawa po ay may matutunan po kayo. So bago po tayo dumako sa content ng chapter na ito, so, as a leader po, akin po munang i-discuss what is it all about. Kung ano nga ba muna ito. So, professional standards for teachers in the Philippines or Philippine Professional Standards for PPS standards for teachers or tinatawag ding PPST shall be used as a basis for all learning and development programs for teachers to ensure that teachers are properly equipped to effectively implement the K-12 program. So dahil na-implement na yung K-12 that is signed by our former President of the Philippines na si Benigno Aquino po noong 2012, dito na rin po nagsimulang gamitin o i-implement ang PPST. It can be also for the selection and promotion for teachers. So all performance appraisals for teachers will be based on this set of standards and professional with its root word na profession, you or someone has a high standards. Hindi ka lang basta-basta, kumbaga sa artist, lahat ng creativity ay alam mo na. You possess special knowledge, skills, ability, and the way we act is seen as an indicator of integrity, trust, ethics, or our manners and expertise. So to build a career in teaching, we need to understand the educational requirements as well. Alam ko, we will be a future teacher and we will be a professional someday. Yes, there is a greater requirement to excel in teaching other than passion. If you want that thing, papasukin mo talaga. But we need the right qualifications po to pursue a career in teaching. And the first thing that we must know about teaching as a profession is the teaching is about inspiring and how we motivate students um to realize and exceed their potentials. So in short, Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers or mas tinatawag na PPST po ay isang public statement of what teachers need to know, value, and be able to do in their practice. So, Department Order Number 42 Series of 2017 stipulates the national adoption and implementation of the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers or yung PPST nga po. At itong order po na ito ay nalagdaan noong August 11, 2017 by DepEd Secretary na si Leonor Magtoles Briones. So, ang PPST po kasi isang public statement po na gaya po ng sabi ko kanina of what teachers need to know, value, and be able to do in their practice. And later on po, matatakal po natin ang mga career stages, domains, standards, and etc. po included po sa topic namin. So, PPST aims or outlines the required skills and competencies of quality teachers, enabling them to cope with the emerging global frameworks. Hindi lang po ito basta-basta, hindi lang ito bubblegum na kapag sawa ka na, itatapon mo na. Kumbaga, para siyang talent. You need to enhance it para mas gumaling ka pa or mag-grow. So, the PPST basically aims to first, set the clear expectation of teachers along well-defined career stages of professional development from beginning to distinguish practice. Dapat may improvement kung sa eduk, galing ka sa, ay, nagsisimula pa lang yan, up to, ay, bihasa na yan. And number two, engage teachers to actively embrace a continuing effort in attaining proficiency. So, dapat hindi nawawala yung relationship mo between you and your work. Sabi nga, if minamahal mo ginagawa mo, mas nag enjoy ka at napapalawak mo kaalaman mo. Number three, apply a uniform measure to assess teacher performance, identify needs, and provide support for professional development. Nandito rin po yung mga webinar, online kamustahan para po ma-assess rin yung bawat teacher. And Briones po pointed out that PPST will be the basis for all learning and development programs for teachers para po ma-ensure nila that they are properly equipped to effectively implement the K-12. So, anchored on the principle of lifelong learning, the set of professional standards for teachers articulates their development progression. So, the most powerful way to raise student achievement is through professional learning. More than ever before po, students need effective teaching if they are to develop the higher order thinking skills po or yung tinatawag nating HATS or HOTS. They will need to be career and college ready in the 21st century. So at the same time po, the expectations for students' achievements are being raised. The students' population is in school is becoming increasingly diverse. Vital to raising student achievement, dapat ikaw na guro ang isa sa humuhubog ng talent, skills, ability, proficiency, or even yung achievement ng isang mag-aral. So this means the need for effective professional development for schools and teachers is critical. These are the important features of Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers or PPST. The PPST captures teachers' quality requirement in the K-12. Among others, it gives a focus on number one, mother tongue to facilitate teaching and learning. Gaya po ng subject natin na CPMT, mas lalo pa natin napapag-aralan yung dialekto na meron tayo and napapayaman po natin ito. Number two, learners in difficult circumstances, gaya po ng Foundation of Special and Inclusive Education na subject natin, hindi lang siya nagfo-focus sa mga normal na bata, pero nagfo-focus din po ito sa mga may mga kapansanan or disability. If mahirap ka, pwede ka na pumasok sa scholarship and etc. And number three, strategies for promotion literacy and numeracy, positive use of ICT. Nandito yung mga proper using or netiquette in ICT, classroom, communication strategies wherein kung noon ay teacher-centered, ngayon po ay student-centered na kung saan may connection na ang teacher and ng students. So, PPST po has a domain called Content, Knowledge, and Pedagogy. Ito po yung pinaka-domain ng PPST. This is at the core of the K-12 program and sends a message to teachers that for them to be considered quality teachers and they should know what to teach and how to teach it among others. Having an expertise in reading, writing, math, or science is necessary, but the ability to transfer that knowledge into another person is what makes an excellent instructor stand out. So, what good is it if a teacher has all the facts but cannot communicate them in a way that others can comprehend? 'Di ba? Aside from comprehending the curriculum content, teachers should have a basic understanding of how people acquire and absorb knowledge. So, ito pong slide na ito ay nagpapakita po ng 7 domains and the performance standards for teachers' education. And the domains are organized hierarchically, meaning maayos na maayos po from the highest level. And domains 1 and 7 represent standards referring to the teacher as a learning. Samantalang po yung domains 2 up to 6 naman po represent the standards referring that the teacher as a facilitator of learning. So number 1 is know what to teach and how to teach. The visual learning doesn't have the same opportunity to stretch his or her other senses. So if a teacher comes to the classroom with the basic knowledge that students learn differently, they will be better equipped to arrange the lessons in such a way that all senses are activated. Number 2, maintain a learning focused environment. How exactly learning styles should be used depends on who you speak to. It is true that learning styles are among the most misunderstood facets of modern education. It isn't true that there are kinesthetic learners, but it is true that there is a kinesthetic learning. So para po sa kaalaman po ng iba, ang kinesthetic learning po ay yung key differences or yung taken from learning styles. Ito po yung nandito po yung visual or using our sight, auditory, nandito po yung using songs or rhythms, verbal, gaya po ng ginagawa ko, it is speaking out loud. The information, kinesthetic po, ito po yung paggamit po ng touch and taste to explore the information. Logical po, it is more mathematical approach to concepts. Interpersonal, it is learning in groups. And intrapersonal, it is learning alone. So number 3 is respond to learner diversity. Kahit may mga pagkakaiba po tayo or yung mga students, dapat wala po tayong kinikilingan or wala po tayong bias. Dapat po fair, equal ang trato po natin sa mga estudyante. Now, let's move on po sa number 4. Ito lang po ay katuloy po ng naunang slide po. So, number 4 is plan and design effective instruction. So, using information is how it becomes knowledge. So, revising knowledge po over a lifetime is how it becomes wisdom. And learning can't be about coverage and is not set it and forget it. So number 5 is the use of variety of assessment tools to inform and enhance the teaching and learning process, or in short po, make it relevant. So information is only stored permanently when it relates to day-to-day living. For example po, math concepts must be reinforced in real-life examples or the student will have no reason po para po mag-absorb ng information beyond the exam. Number 6, establish community relationships. Means, gaya po ng sabi ko, hindi dapat nawawala yung connection mo with them. And last one is engage in professional reflection. Madami po ang failure ng isang teacher but people learn from failure. In fact, as any major successful person, what helped them, and usually it will involve a story that harkens back to a big mess up. So failure po ay nagpe-play po yan ng important po sa ating buhay, kasi kapag walang failure, wala ka pong matutututan. So failure teaches even better than a perfect score on a test. So classic grading systems don't help with its theory, as grades have become inflated, feared, and used as judge and jury about who learned what. So, contrary to popular belief, learning from failure is anything but easy. It's not just about reflecting about it's not it's not just about reflecting upon what you did. You need to teach how to learn. So, ito po yung 7 domains of teaching excellence. So, content, knowledge, and pedagogy, learning environment, diversity of learners, curriculum and planning, assessment and reporting, community linkages and professional engagement, and the last one is professional growth and personal development na i-discuss po namin later on. Kung sa PPST po ay isang public statement of what teachers need to know, value, and be able to do in their practice, itong National Competency po Based Teacher Standards ay isang integral theoretical framework that defines the different dimensions of effective teaching, na kung saan po ang salitang effective teaching, alam naman natin na may natututunan at may naiiwan sa mga bata o mag-aaral kahit sa paglipas ng panahon po ay dala-dala pa rin nila. It able to help all types of students learn the different learning goals in the curriculum. At mamaya po, pag-aaralan natin ang mga necessary competencies na dapat meron ang isang guro o teacher. Pero ngayon, atin munang bigyan ng emphasize on sino-sino nga ba ang mga dapat gumamit ng PPST and NCBTS? At ngayon, unahin ko muna ang PPST. So, educational institution, especially DepEd, should refer to PPST in enhancing teaching practices. Kabilang dito yung DepEd Central Office, ito yung mga agency na nagmamanage, also govern the Philippine system of basic education. Ito yung chief formulator po ng Philippine Education Policy and responsible po siya for the Philippine primary and secondary school system. So, nandito rin po si DepEd division level, school level, K-12 adapting institution. At sa NCBTS naman po ay dapat dito po gumamit ang Department of Education, Professional Regulation Commission, award-giving bodies, and teacher education institutions. And now, how are these, the PPST and NCBTS are adopted or used? So, ayan. So, yung PPST po ay nagamit as a basis for our learning and development programs for teachers para po ma-ensure that teachers are properly equipped for effectively implement the K-12 program. Nagagamit din ito for selection and sa pagpo-promote ng mga teachers. Halimbawa po noong grade 1 pa lang tinuturuan mo, but with this matter po tumaas ka na at ngayon po ay nasa grade 5 ka na. Samantalang po yung NCBTS po ay nagagamit as a guide or tulong po sa atin or nagsisilbing liwanag po on their or our current teaching practices. It will be also our framework po for creating new teaching practices, also for planning and professional development goals, and lastly as our common language for discussing teaching practices with other teachers. Kung kanina po ay nasabi ko na yung 7 domains ng PPST na i-discuss namin isa-isa mamaya, after ko ma-discuss itong NCBTS, ngayon po ay akin nang tatalakayin ang 7 domains of NCBTS. So, the content of the National Competency-Based Teacher Standards as a national program of the DepEd, CHED, and the Teacher Education Council or yung TEC or TEC identified necessary competencies that all teachers should possess. So these competencies po are considered in developing curriculum standards for pre-service and in-service teacher education in the country. So ito pong nasa slide na ito ay table po sana for CHED, Tech, DepEd National Competency Based Teacher Standards, pero ganitong form na lang po yung ginawa ko para po mas lalo po nating maintindihan. Then, nagpick lang po ako ng isa that I think is the best description po ng domains. Pero po, sasabihin ko po ito orally and I want you to listen. So, domain 1, yung mga nakabold po, yun po yung mga domains. So, seven domains po ito. So, domain 1 is social regard for learning, act as a positive role model students. So, itong domain po na ito ay nagfo-focus on the idea that teachers serve as positive and powerful role models of the values. It pursues of learning of different kinds of the effort to learn, di ba? Kung pansin niyo po, ang daming model ngayon na kinahumalingan po ng mga tao, and kahit saang social media platforms po, sila po ay sinusubaybayan gaya po ni Zebiana, Ivana, Pia, Catriona, and etc. So, same as po sa teacher, dapat po or hindi lang dapat, kailangan po nating maging magandang model, halimbawa sa mga bata kasi tayo po ang nagsisilbing like nila, tayo po ang sinusundan nila. So, paano ko ba mapapasunod ang mga bata? Simple lang po. Kung ano ang tama, gawin mo po at tiyak po, you will be a role model sa mga bata. The second one po is learning environment. It creates an environment that promotes fairness. It refers to the diverse physical locations, contexts, and cultures in which students learn. So, so um, you need or we need to communicate higher learning expectations to each learner po para po makapag-establish and para po ma-maintain or ma-balance po natin yung consistent standards of learners' behaviors. And number 3, diversity of learners. It is a familiar with learners' background, knowledge, and experiences. Learning diversity refers to the infinite variety of life experiences and attributes a child brings to their formal learning at school. So, all students po with diverse learning needs have the right to assess a full and engaging education on the same basis as their peers. It also demonstrates concerns for holistic development of learners. Madami po tayong pagkakaiba, may magaling sa math, may magaling sa English, may magaling sa science, and etc. But we must need to treat them equally. So number 4 is curriculum. It demonstrates mastery of the subject matter. It seems obvious that if you are going to teach a subject, then you should really know a lot about the subject. Ngayon, it's certainly in high schools where teachers often specialize into one or two subject areas. There is a real emphasis on the subject matter knowledge of the teacher. That's why it is surprising then there is a relative little evidence supporting this claim. Instead po, it seems as if it has been accepted as a truism by many educators and not investigated further. It is just a given. So what evidence there is, however, suggests that there is much less correlation between teacher subject knowledge and student achievement that one might reasonably expect. So number 5, planning, assessing, and reporting. It communicates the progress of the learners promptly and clearly to them as well as to their parents, superiors. Planning and assessing and reporting po ay napaka-importante po para po ma-ensure that students' needs are being met. So number 6, community linkages. It establishes a learning environment that responds to the aspirations of the community. So the norms and expectations established in your classroom enhance or hinder your students' learning experience. So community-centered learning environments explicitly promote norms and expectations po that encourage critical inquiry and collaboration. So number 7, personal growth, and professional development. It takes pride in the nobility of teaching as a profession. So, the new professional standards for teachers in the Philippines was developed para po ma-strengthen po yung former National Competency-Based Teacher Standards or yung NCBTS nga po na tinatawag. It complements that innovations and reform initiatives on teachers' education from pre-service teacher education to in-service teaching training. So, nandito po, it includes important competencies required for Filipino teachers to be effective in responding to the demands of 21st century education. So itong 7 domains po and 37 strands that provide measures of professional learning, competent practice, and effective engagement for everyone who wish to be a part of teaching profession. So, thus Philippine professional for I mean, thus Philippine professional for teachers or yung PPST replace NCBTS. Ang masasabi ko dito is a big yes. This happens upon the signing into policy of DepEd Order number 42 series of 2017, the on the national adoption and implementation of the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers po, which amended the DepEd Order number 32 series of 2009, and that is the difference between PPST and NCBTS. And now, ito na po yung topic namin entitled Domain 1, the Content, Knowledge, and Pedagogy. Once again po, I'm Angelica Giecel, Afante Magbalot, together with Godwin Dawa. So, as stated po sa slide namin, content knowledge refers to the body of knowledge, facts, theories, principles, ideas, and vocabulary which teachers must master to be effective. So, in simple words, ang mga guro po ay kailangan ng mga malalalim, malawak, malaman na kaalaman para po alam na alam nila yung subject na ituturo nila and corresponding curriculum. Yung curriculum po ay ang subject na content knowledge, and ang curriculum po ay similar po siya sa syllabus, and alam ko po aware kayo kung ano po ang syllabus. So ito po yung mga standards-based sequence of planned experiences where students practice and achieve proficiency in content and applied learning skills. Kumbaga, ito po yung central guide for all educators na gaya natin. Halimbawa pa, let's say, si Kuya Ray ang siyang instructor natin sa team sports. Hindi naman pwedeng papasok siya sa subject na yon. Hindi niya alam kung ano ang sport. What is team? What is teamwork? What is sportsmanship? Flexibility, cardiovascular, and etc. Hindi pwede dito niya ituturo kung saan tayo ay nagmula, kung saan tayo nanggaling. Kasi kapag ganito na, of course, it is AP na. Or araling panlipunan or social studies sa Ingles from the Latin word content na continere spells as CONTINERE or contentus meaning having the desire to present enjoyment. Satisfied sila sa binigay mo na knowledge, satisfied ka sa nalaman mo na kaalaman. So, content knowledge po ay ang mga guro natin ay dapat may mga kaalaman po sila or naintindihan nila yung subject na ituturo and its corresponding curriculum. Gaya ng sabi po ni Sir Milliard na BEC or yung Basic Education Curriculum wherein this is a form of tool which will stand as one point of learning areas as adequate for the development of competencies. Ito po yung dating ginagamit na curriculum ng mga guro, and now ay may milk na or most essential learning competencies na siya na yung ginagamit ng mga guro ngayon to ensure that education for all students is enriched. Kaya dapat bago po nating pasukin ang isang bagay or isang position ay may alam ka. Gaya lang yan po sa classroom officer. Hindi ka tatakbo na president if wala kang leadership, and that leadership serve as your content knowledge para po makagalaw ka ng maayos sa section mo. Content knowledge refers to the teacher's mastery of the content in the subjects and courses that they are assigned to teach. Pedagogical knowledge, meanwhile, refers to the teacher's mastery in using effective effective instructional strategies and methods to teach their subjects and courses. So this slide po, the first domain is composed of seven strands at iisa-isahin ko po yan. Pero i-define muna natin kung ano ang salitang strands. So the term strands po is used to indicate the discipline within a learning area. Example po is yung history, geography, economics, and civics under social studies. So each with its own associated goals for learning, or sa Tagalog po, ito po yung tumatayo sa isang bagay like this domain. So number one is content knowledge and its application within and across curriculum areas. So the term content knowledge po refers to the body of knowledge and information na gaya po ng sabi ko kanina that teachers teach and the students are expected to learn in a given subject or content area. Gaya po sa English language, arts, mathematics, science, or social studies at iba pa. So, content knowledge generally refers to the facts, concepts, theories, na gaya po ng sabi ko kanina, rather than to related skills such as reading, writing, or researching that students also learn in school. While the term may be considered unnecessary jargon by some, the use of content knowledge has grown significantly in recent decades, in large part because educators now commonly use the term as a shorthand way to articulate a useful technical distinction between knowledge and skills. So, meron pong pagkakaiba ang knowledge and skills. So, ang knowledge po ay yung una na na-acquire mo through sensory input gaya po ng reading, watching, listening, touching, and etc. Samantalang po yung skills, however, refer to the ability to apply knowledge to you specific knowledge. Example, alam mo kung paano gumawa ng HTML. Yung HTML po, ito po yung hypertext markup language if hindi pa ako nagkakamali, and that knowledge ma-apply mo na sa technology, and that skills is called technology skills. So then let's go back to the topic. Nabanggit dito sa number 1 ang within and across. Para po hindi tayo maguluhan, itatagalog po natin ang bawat isa. So, ang Tagalog po ng within ay sa loob ng. Ulitin ko po, ang Tagalog po ng within ay sa loob ng. Samantalang po yung across po, ang Tagalog po ay sa kabila. Ang across ay sa kabila. So, yan po. So, based on my research po, nagbasa-basa po ako before my discussion nung last meeting pa po na kung saan nag-discuss po ako, ay napaghantungan ko na in recent decades po, public school teachers have been required in most cases to attain certification in the subject area they teach, which can require education and training beyond a 4-year college degree. So many teachers can earn a master's degree in education or in specific academic fields such as yung biology, chemistry, or physics. So, ano nga ba yung tinutukoy ni Giecel or ni Ma'am Giecel? So, ang certificate po na tinutukoy ko ay yung license ka na. Gaya po sa mga teachers, di ba po, ay may LPT or yung licensed professional teachers, may RGC or yung registered guidance counselor, may CEA or yung certified audio engineer, and etc. Yun po ang kailangan para makapagturo noon. So in general po, the push to increase certification or yung educational requirements for teachers is based in part on research and other evidence suggesting that teachers who are highly knowledgeable in a specific field tend to be more effective teachers. That is the across of the curriculum areas, while the one ongoing debate related to the content knowledge centers on the distinction between knowledge and skills and whether it is more important for schools para po ma-emphasize the teaching of knowledge or yung teaching of skills. Some educators po argue that it's not possible to teach academic and intellectual skills gaya po ng reading, writing, critical thinking, problem solving, researching, separate po from content knowledge and conceptual understanding given that students can't learn to write well. For example, if they don't have ideas, facts or yung mga principles, and philosophies to write about. So while some educators content that academic and intellectual skills can be separated. So out of subject area knowledge and instruction, others may argue that cross-disciplinary skills have historically been ignored or under-prioritized in schools, and the push to give more attention to these skills is simply a common sense response to a changing world. So still, others may argue that knowledge versus skills debate is not only a distraction, given that students need to be taught both knowledge and skills, but it's a false it is a false because it's impossible to learn skills without content or learn content without skills. So, dapat lagi po yung nagkakasama. Dapat po kambal yung dalawang yan yun. Yung knowledge and skills. So, number two, research-based knowledge and principles of teaching and learning. So, research-based teaching means that students carry out research in their courses independently and with an open outcome. So, since grade 7 po ako, dahil galing po ako sa private school, ay nahasa na po ako kung paano gumawa ng research. Dapat, nandito yung SMART, wherein SMART stands for specific. Mas maganda po yung simple na nakadirekta sa mismong subject mo. Achievable, dapat madali mo lang siya makuha, and even sa mga bata ay madali lang nila ma-catch. Relevant ay dapat po napapanahon siya. Gaya sa thesis, dapat wag ka na kumuha ng um, ano na ba tawag doon? Wag ka na kumuha ng mga references na in the year of 1800s. Ganun, dapat ay relevant siya, na nakaayon po siya sa panahon natin ngayon. Then, T stands for time abound, na kung saan itong topic mo ay dapat for this quarter lang. Then, this topic is for the second quarter, and so on and so forth. So, this helps to internalize a practice research, conducts and methods, skills such as formulating a precise question and processing and monitoring a research process. Sabi nga ng prof ko or ng teacher ko noong grade 12 ako, ang taong matalino ay palatanong. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo po, if merong inquiry or mga katanungan, ang mga bata ay mas nadadagdagan po ang kaalaman nila or kaalaman natin bilang isang guro, at dagdag kaalaman na rin nila bilang estudyante na siyang ginagamit or magagamit nila in their future. So, students attain abilities in dealing with uncertainty, independence, teamwork, and organizational skills. Gaya po ng nararanasan natin ngayon, kailangan nating tumayo sa sarili nating paa para po ma-survive natin ang SEM na ito. Itong second SEM natin, hindi natin kailangan maging makasarili kasi teamwork dapat po ay may collaboration in order to provide a framework for the exchange and mutual development of ideas in relation to research-based teaching. Focus groups were established. Kaya kung napapansin po ninyo, mostly kapag research ay groupings, yun po ay anto sa nagiging teacher ka na, kaya alam mo na tumayo at may foundation ka na para makagawa ng isang research based knowledge and concrete or principle of teaching and learning. Kumbaga, natututo ka from abstract up until to concrete. The number 3, positive use of ICT. So, dahil nandito na po tayo sa new curriculum or dahil 21st century learner na tayo, meron nang nabago. Maging damit man yan, pamumuhay or lifestyle, business, and even our education, involved na po dito si technology or digital. Nasa digital world na tayo, kaya kailangan nating sumabay para hindi po tayo mapag-iwanan. Sabi nga po nila, go with the flow. So, information and communication technology, or in short po ay ICT, it deals with the use of different communication technology or yung masatawag na ICT. Nandito po yung paggamit natin ng mobile phones, telephone, internet, and etc. that locate, save, send, and edit information. Halimbawa na lang po itong online class natin. Gumagamit tayo ng internet para magamit yung Google Meet natin na app and makipag-interact kay instructor natin and even to our classmate. Hindi po natin maiiwasan na meron po talagang disadvantages ang ICT. Pero dito po sa strand namin ay positive use of ICT. So, in addition, the use of ICT to access information has brought new opportunities for leisure and entertainment kapag free time natin. Nandiyan si ICT para paligayahin tayo and also sa mga bata. Nagbibigay po ito ng kaligayahan sa kanila, gaya po ng matinik noong elementary tayo, mga kwento ni Lola Basyang, nakakamiss sila panoorin at nakakamiss maging bata. Pero as time passes by po talaga, lahat po tayo ay tumatanda. Hindi natin yan mapipigilan. So, sa pamamagitan din po ng ICT, nakakaugnayan po natin ang mga malalayo nating pamilya. And even like this, kahit magkakalayo po tayo, ay meron pa ring interconnectedness sa klase natin, and that is because of ICT. It improve access to education. Example is distance learning or online tutorials, new ways of learning, interactive multimedia and virtual reality, new job opportunities, flexible and mobile working, and etc. So, kaya payo ko lang po, wag po tayo sumuko. Kung ano man ang nararanasan natin ngayon ay meron yan kapalit in the future. Meron po yang kapalit kahit kahit sinasabing new job opportunities, meron po tayong mga working students dito, gaya po ni Ate Rosemary Iglamo, Jimwell, si Ate Aliyah, and even like me, na pinagsasabay po ang pag-aaral at pagtatrabaho. Kaya payo ko lang po, wag po tayo sumuko. Kung ano man po ang nararanasan natin ngayon, ay meron yan kapalit in the future. Sabi nga, new tools, new opportunities. Hindi lang po siya sa atin, sa mga instructor, nakakatulong ang ICT. ICT can be used to help people overcome disabilities. Example is screen magnification or screen reading, software enabling partially sighted or blind people po para po magtrabaho sila or to work with ordinary text rather than braille, na kung kilala nyo po si favorite kong writer na si Helen Keller po, ay nagamit po niya ito. At dahil nasa positive use of ICT tayo, ibibigay ko po yung 10 rules of netiquette para maging guide po natin sa paghawak ng mga technology. So, number 1, the golden rule: treat others as you would like to be treated, or do not do others as you would have the do unto you. Respetuhin mo kung anong nakikita mo as long as tama. Huwag kang mag-judge, lalo na kapag hindi mo alam kung ano ang tama or katotohanan. Sabi nga nila, respect begets respect. Dapat wag po yan mawala sa atin. Number 2, no flaming. Ang flame kasi ay isang personal insult communicated through the internet. Number 3, don't type all caps kasi may mga tao na nami-misinterpret nila. Feeling nila galit ka. Number 4, don't spam. It is unsolicited or email from unknown sources. Huwag ka magloko o mandaya sa kapwa mo tao. Then number 5, don't talk with people you do not know. Gaya sa mga Arabo, hi dear chuchu, do not arrange to meet anyone you meet online. Yung eyeball ba na tinatawag kasi, yung eyeball na tinatawag ba kasi maraming posibleng outcome ang mangyayari, gaya ng rape or gahasain ka, kidnap in ransom, pwede ka rin nakawan or i-hypnotize or pwede ka rin pong patayin, kaya be responsible always. Number 6, obey copyright laws. Number 7, use proper grammar and spelling. Number 8, be honest or be yourself. Tell the truth, do not pretend to be someone else. Huwag ka maging poser or magpanggap na ibang tao. Number 9, follow the TOS or yung TOS ay mas tinatawag na term of service. Ito po yung mga rules and policies of the sites. Then number 10, shop secure sites. Huwag mag-open ng link dahil may mga link na hindi kaaya-aya. So, however, if you don't keep with new technology, you risk losing ground to your competition. So, number 4. So, sa pang-apat na tayo po. So, the strategies for promoting literacy and numeracy. So, numeracy, like literacy, it is a key for students po to access and to make sense of their world. Di ba po, noong first year tayo, meron po tayong naging subject na literacy na instructor na po natin ay si Ma'am Meljoy. So, from is Latin word kasi na literate, from the Latin literatus, meaning learned or lettered. So, nandito po yung pakikinig, pagsasalita, pagbabasa, at pagsusulat. So, dahil sa literacy, nagkakaroon po ng malawak na kaalaman ang mga bata. So, literacy is strengthened, made specific, and extended in other learning areas, and the use of mathematical skills across the curriculum enriches the study of each curriculum area, and it contributes to the development of a broader and deeper understanding of numeracy. So the growth of new technologies and new industries has led to an increasing need for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or yung STEM po na tinatawag nila na isa pong strand ng senior high. So expertise in the workforce. So for educators, the future is not an abstract concept. We can see the future daily in the faces of the young people in our classroom. Now, more than ever, we need to be planning for their future. So number 5 is strategies for developing critical and creative thinking as well as other higher order thinking skills. So in this domain po, dito rin pumahubog yung mga kaisipan natin. So, bakit ba mahalaga or gamitin ang critical, creative, and higher order thinking skills? So, critical and creative thinking skills is essential for students to become successful learners. So, this generally capability has four main parts. So, posing questions, gathering, organizing, and processing information and ideas, imagining possibilities, suggesting alternatives, seeking solutions, and putting ideas into action, talking about and giving reasons for their thinking, and applying knowledge in new situations, applying logic, reasoning, drawing, and conclusion, and designing a course of action. So, one of the main 21st century components that teachers want their students to use is higher order thinking skills. This is when students use complex ways to think about what they are learning. So, higher order thinking skills po, it takes thinking to a whole new level. So, and students using it are understanding higher levels rather than just memorizing facts. So, they would have to understand the facts, infer them, and connect them to the other concept. So, Ate Giecel, so paano po ba ma-enhance yung higher order thinking skills para po sa mga bata? So, number 1 po, help determine what higher order thinking skill is. So, syempre, alamin muna kung ano ba ang higher order thinking skills that help students understand what higher order thinking skill is. Explain to them what it is and why they need it. Help them to understand their own strengths and challenges. You can do this by showing them how they ask or how they can ask themselves good questions. And that leads us to the next strategy. Number 2, connect concepts. So, connect concepts, it leads students through the process of how to connect one's concept to another. Like domino, kung familiar po kayo, mas maganda if connected sila para once na umandar ang isa ay maganda na ang flow ng lahat. So, by doing this, you are teaching them to connect what they already know with what they are learning, and this level of thinking will help students learn to make connections whenever it is possible, which will help them gain even more understanding. Gaya lang po yan ng ballpen hawak ko or hawak mo ngayon. Example, black ang ballpen ko pero blue or red yung takip. Pero red or blue yung takip. So tingin nyo po, na-attract ba niya yung attention mo? Di ba po? Di ba po hindi? Gaya lang po yan sa pag-aaral natin. Kailangan mo alamin kung paano gawin, and as time passes by, ay magiging bihasa ka na sa paggawa nito. Like lesson plan. Una, mahirapan talaga tayo kasi wala pa tayong alam dito. Pero, dahil kay Pero dahil meron si isip, si gawa at si dedication, ay mapapagana na ang isipan natin na gawin at magiging expertise na tayo sa paggawa ng lesson plan. And number 6, mother tongue, Filipino and English in teaching and learning. So alam naman po natin, ito po yung mga sinasalita natin dito sa ating bansa. Learners begin their education in the language they understand best, their mother tongue, and need to develop a strong foundation in their mother language before effectively learning additional languages. Di ba po, may mga na-encounter tayo na mga bata na mahirap magsalita or ng diretsong Tagalog. Ay, gaya ng gusto mo danugan kita. Doon pa lang makikita mo na hindi ganun ka-fluent yung dialect na meron yung bata. So the purpose of multilingual education program is to develop appropriate cognitive and reasoning skills, enabling children to operate equally in different languages, starting with the first language of the child. So the MTB-MLE strengthens the develop of the appropriate cognitive and reasoning skills, enabling children para po ma-operate equally in different languages. Starting with the mother tongue, maraming development or pag-grow ang mga bata na involved dito gaya ng language development, kung ano, Jungship po kasi yung tawag sa akin dito sa bahay. Kasi Jungshi rin po yung name ko pero mas ginagamit ko po yung Angelica Giecel para po mas maikli. So kinausap kasi ako ng bata, sabi niya, "Ate Tungti, yung buta mo nasa labas." So kapag hindi ako yung kausap ng pamangkin ko dahil kung maririnig mo talaga yung sinabi niya, may misconception talaga na mangyayari. Akala nila minumura siya or minumura mo siya. Pero dahil sa strand na ito, students will establish a strong educational foundation in the language they know best. They will build a good bridge to the school language or languages, and they will be prepared to use both or all of their languages for success in school for lifelong learning. So, number 7, classroom communication strategies. So number 7, classroom communication strategies. Creating dialogue between your students can be a challenging yet fundamental part of teaching. Sabi ko nga, dito ka na makaka-encounter ng iba't ibang klase ng students. Gaya po ng theatrical film namin sa FC or FSIE. Nandito yung mga bata na mahilig magsalita or gossip monger, yung bully, yung nerd, yung teacher's pet, and etc. At dito po malalaman kung paano mo hawakan yung mga ganitong klase ng mga estudyante, and effective communication can help to build and foster a safe learning environments where students can thrive, prosper, and learn. Improving your content knowledge. So, para kanino ba ito? So, ito po ay para sa mismong teacher or tayo in the future. I am talking to the teachers kung paano ba nila mapapalago or ma-improve yung content knowledge nila. So, first is to admit you have a problem. Sabi nga nila, kapag wala kang problema, hindi ka magiging malakas, matapang, o matututo. Kaya dapat i-assume mo na may problema ka. Collaborate with your people who are surrounds you regularly. Kanino ba? Lumapit ka sa mga may mga mas nakakaalam gaya ng mga veteran, mga co-teachers mo, and etc. Para po alam mo yung mga dapat mong gawin, and of course, never stop learning. Madaming tao ang may ayaw sa iyo. Madaming tao ang ayaw sa problema, gusto nila chill lang. Pero one thing I know for sure po, for all mistakes, failures na nagawa mo, yan po ang magpapalakas sa iyo. Improving their content knowledge. Para naman po ito sa mga bata or mga learners mo. So, of course, make connections para yung communication mo ay hindi napuputol, yung daloy ng pagtuturo mo ay maayos, at para yung klase mo ay hindi maging unworthy or pasok-uwi lang yung mga bata. Then, just-in-time delivery, dapat on time ka nagtuturo kasi hindi mo alam yung mga ugali na mayroon ng isang bata. Pwede ang isa ay maboring, yung dalawa ay nagsuntukan, yung isa ay umuwi na, yung isa ay hindi na nakinig, and etc. Kaya dapat on time ka lagi and be punctual. And last is to teach kids to find information on their own. hindi lang spoon feeding ang ginagawa mo, dapat hayaan mo ding maglakbay or mag-explore sila para matuto on their own. So, pedagogy is the art or profession of teaching. So this broad definition covers various aspects po of teaching, and there are many moving parts to pedagogy that include teaching styles, feedback, and assessment. So the term pedagogy po boils down to the study of different teaching methods, and pedagogy is how you go about teaching something or how you integrate that knowledge or your overall instructional approach. Dito na po involve kung paano mo gawin yung mga content or yung mga nasa loob ng subject mo like mother tongue. So, drill and practice, problem solving or problem-based learning, game-based learning, inquiry-based learning. Nandito rin po yung constructivist practices would all be considered as pedagogy. So, ang pedagogy po ay nagpo-focus on helping students acquire the knowledge to develop ideas at yung mga ideas po na yon ay involved sa content. Pero in a constructivist way nga lang. So therefore, pedagogy po is also seen as the relationship between learning techniques and classroom culture. In a nutshell, yung salitang pedagogy po is the study of how to present different types of content. It requires meaningful classroom interactions between you as a teacher and your students. In short po, ang pedagogy po is the art of teaching students. So teaching pedagogy, or in the other words, teaching methods can be either teacher or student-centered and can have a low or high-tech approach. Teacher-centered learning focuses on the teacher giving lectures and sharing content through direct construction or instruction. And learning pedagogy po addresses the different ways to study, understand information, and is equally as important as teaching pedagogy in understanding and supporting every student. So every teacher po, tayo in the future knows that no two students are the same. Wala pong magkakapareho. So discovering how each student learns best can help them personalize instruction. So, ito pong 9 multiple intelligence, pero hindi ko na po sila i-discuss kasi we're running out of time na siguro po i-discuss ko po ito if may chance pa. So, ito pong 9 multiple intelligence that a learner might have. So, there are several theories kasi about how students learn. And one popular concept is the Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence. Nandito po yung spatial, verbal, interpersonal intelligence, intrapersonal intelligence, logical, musical, bodily kinesthetic intelligence, existential intelligence, and the last one is 9, naturalist intelligence na na-discuss ko na po a while ago. So, is teachers' primary concern are the learners. They have to teach in order for their students learn something. 'Di ba po, may mga bata na kapag tinanong ni mama na, "Anak, ano yung natutunan mo ngayon sa school?" Sasabi naman ng anak, "Ma, ayun, nakaupo lang ako maghapon dahil si ma'am ay may chu-chu-chu." Ang sasabihin na lang natin na may personal problem siya. Payo ko lang po, dapat as a future educator po, dapat alam natin ihiwalay yung personal or life natin sa profession life natin. Why? Kasi itong mga personal issues po or problems natin ay makakaapekto po sa position natin. Dapat alam natin i-manage. We must be an influencer sa mga bata dahil tayo po ang magiging inspiration or light ng mga bata. So they use some tools in teaching such as books, visuals, and another suitable materials. However po, teaching is not easy as that because they also have or to be aware of the 5 pedagogical approaches which can enhance the process of learning na ngayon po ay i-discuss ko na. Nandito po yung constructivist approach, collaborative approach, inquiry-based approach, integrative approach, and reflective approach. Alam ko po, you are familiar now with it. So, iiklian ko na lamang po yung explanation ko dahil I know you are familiar with those words na. So, constructivist teaching, This based on constructivist learning through theory. It is based on the belief that learning occurs as learners are actively involved in the process. Di ba po, kadalasan po natin naririnig natin sa mga teacher, kayo mga anak, kayo ang gumawa ng grades nyo at kami ang nag encode lang. So in short, learners are the makers of meaning of knowledge. From the word itself, construct, tayo po ang gumagawa. So number two, collaborative approach or collaborative learning is a situation in which two or more people learn and or attempt to learn something together. Nandito na po yung mga groupings, halimbawa na lang po ay yung role play. Then number three, inquiry-based teaching. It focus naman on inquiry or question. It espouses investigation, exploration, and such. And number four is the integrative approach. The teacher's task in integrative learning, gaya po ng teacher should start the inquiry processes. So, bakit ba si teacher dapat ang mag-start? Of course, si teacher po ang pinagmumulan ng kaalaman. Siya po yung magbibigay ng instruction or direction para po makapagsimula, or yung the teacher should transition between small groups and classroom discussion. The teacher should intervene to clear misconceptions. So, the teacher should model scientific procedures and attitude. And the last one is reflective. Dito makikita kung may natutunan ba yung mga bata, dito nasusukat kung paano mag-isip, at itong reflective po nito ay magiging evidence sa mga nagawa mo or nagawa ng mga bata. So, bakit ba mahalaga ang TPAC? Ito po kasi ay connected sa topic namin, kaya ko po sinali. So, may three components po ang TPAC. So, technological knowledge. The technological knowledge help teachers use to and combine technology with teaching. As a teacher, technological knowledge is about knowledge and understanding of tools that you can use to teach. Example, apps is the game devices. It recognizes the importance of teachers' mastery of content knowledge and its interconnectedness. So, technological knowledge is about how teachers use technology. Dapat gamay na gamay mo kung ano ang hawak mo na subject. And syempre, kailangan rin po nating ma-recognize. Gaya na lamang sa mga graduation natin, 'di ba, sa bawat end or meron tayong nare-receive na awards like most neat and clean, most thoughtful, na akala po natin ay most tupul. Then, ganun din po sa mga teachers. We must recognize their importance. Kaya kung maalala nyo po, meron po tayong Teacher's Day. Ayan, dyan natin hinahandugan ng kanta, tula, and token to our beloved teachers. So, therefore, pedagogical knowledge, it refers to the art and practice of teaching, utilizing the knowledge and putting into practice and transmitting the knowledge in an interesting way for the students to learn. Pedagogy not only refers to the accuracy of knowledge but the effectiveness of the teaching on the students' learning. Teachers may know everything but does not know how to teach. Then the last one is encompasses teacher's ability, like content knowledge po. It is the teacher's knowledge about the subject matter to be learned or taught. So this knowledge would include knowledge of concept, ideas, theories, and frameworks. Dapat you as a teacher ay may ability ka na magturo, matuto yung mga klase mo, or matuto yung mga klase mo, ability na masunod kanila, and etc. Teaching is a work of heart. Sa pagtuturo, maraming mga hindrances, gaya ng mga estudyante na mahirap sumunod, madaming stress, conflict. Kaya sinabi na ang teaching ay nasa work of heart. Kailangan mahaba ang pasensya mo sa pagtuturo. At syempre, kailangan hindi ka napapagod na umintindi kasi role mo yon as a teacher. Teaching is a conceptual and intellectual, abstract and concrete. Creative and sequential is about people but framed thought or but framed through ideas. It is about content, hearts, minds, the past, the future, whatever we can imagine. Teaching and learning po are both causes and effects. Education is not filling of a path but the lighting of a fire. We are not just a teacher but an awakener. Once again po, I'm Angelica Giecel Afante Magbalot, the reporter of professional standards for teachers in the Philippines, introduction with the first domain content, knowledge, and pedagogy. So, if you have a questions, you can DM me or you can comment to my YouTube channel. Thank you po and God bless us all.